Rose looked around the church, hoping not to run into the pastor or anyone else she knew. The early morning light shining through the stained glass windows made little prisms of color on the pews. The cloying smell of incense transported Rose to comforting childhood times. She needed that today. The church custodian moved silently around the altar, focused on his dusting and polishing. An older woman knelt up front, dressed in black, and murmuring prayers in Sicilian as she worked her rosary beads. Rose craned her neck from her seat in the back, but couldn't identify her. Rose wasn't where she should be on a Friday morning, working at the family grocery store. Instead, she was headed to a job interview at the Higgins shipyard. She'd told her parents she was going to a blood drive. The lie was just a venial sin, she rationalized, for the war effort. She felt through her blouse for her scapular, a drawing of the Virgin Mary on a small brown felt rectangle, tied to a ribbon she wore around her neck. She knew her big brother Giovanni and older sister Laura were wearing theirs too, wherever they were. The thought brought Rose some solace. Giovanni had enlisted right after Pearl Harbor and now worked as a mechanic somewhere in the Pacific. Meanwhile, Laura was an army nurse stationed in North Africa, which seemed impossibly romantic to Rose, like something out of Casablanca. She prayed God would keep them safe, then added a request that the job interview would go well. Asking forgiveness for the lie to her parents could wait until her next confession. Rose never thought she'd have a chance to work at the shipyard. Her small frame wasn't built for manual labor. But her cousin Rocco recently enlisted, and he'd recommended she take his place as a bookkeeper. She felt ready, excited for the chance to do her part. And at 18, she was desperate to get out from under her parents' thumb at least 5 days a week. Rose looked at her watch. Her best friend Marie, who worked as a welder at the shipyard, had said the streetcar ride to Higgins would take about 45 minutes. She couldn't risk being late. As she got up to leave, so did the old woman up front. Rose felt her heart race. It was Mrs. Serio. Immaculate Conception was the Italian church, and all Rose's Sicilian neighbors worshipped here. Rose bent her head as she blessed herself and genuflected in the aisle. But when she looked up, Mrs. Serio was coming right at her. "Rose, I never see you here on a weekday," Mrs. Serio said in a loud whisper. Her English was accented with Palermo, like so many others in the neighborhood, like Rose's own parents. "Is everything all right?" "Buongiorno, Mrs. Serio. Yes, everything is fine. Rose felt hot suddenly, her mind fumbling for a plausible excuse for being there. "I just stopped in before work to light a candle for my brother. We haven't heard from him in so long." Another lie. They'd had a postcard from Giovanni just last week. Palm trees on the front, postmarked Manila. "I miss Ma's cooking. The food is terrible, otherwise still in one piece." No information on his whereabouts or condition. Even so, they'd clung to the message. Proof of life. "You never know these days," Mrs. Serio said, leaning on her cane. "I'll add him to my prayer list." "Grazie," Rose said. "What about Stefano? Any news?" Rose had been in school with Mrs. Serio's grandson, who'd enlisted around the same time as Giovanni. "Only that he's in North Africa somewhere. God keep him," Mrs. Serio said, blessing herself. "That's where my sister is," Rose said. "Hopefully they won't cross paths. Laura's working in the field hospital." They walked toward the exit, Mrs. Serio limping along. "God bless her, too. Such a brave girl." Rose held open the heavy cypress door and let in the blazing sunlight. She was touched that Mrs. Serio called Laura brave. Her own mother didn't see it that way. Rose helped the older woman down the wide granite front steps of the church. "Sorry I'm so slow. My leg, it hurts with the sugar diabetes," Mrs. Serio said, turning toward home. Rose pointed in the opposite direction. "I'm going this way. Need to run an errand." She didn't want to give Mrs. Serio an opening to start a litany of ailments. She needed to catch the streetcar soon or she'd be late for the interview. "Arrivederci,"